Good morning. This meeting of the Madera County Board of Supervisors is now called to order. And County Council, are there any additions to the agenda?
Chair, there are no additions to the agenda.
Okay, then at this time, we'll read the agenda for closed session into the record.
Thank you, Chair, members of the board. Your closed session agenda lists 6 items. However, your agency designated representative, Roman Noriega, has mentioned that there are no labor negotiation updates. And so I won't be reading 2A as in Adam into the record. The other matters are all, or 4 of them are existing litigation under Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection D1. The name of the first case is Madera Community Hospital. It's a bankruptcy case in the Eastern District of California, a case number 23-10457-A11. The others are in Madera Superior Court, the first being Madera Irrigation District versus the County of Madera Groundwater Sustainability Agency, and others. That case is MCV 086277, Valley Groundwater Coalition versus the County of Madera, MCV 087677, Brookyard Business Park Association, Inc. versus County of Madera, MCV 088459. And the last item to read into the record is under Government Code Section 54956.9. There's one case, and there is, under the advice of legal counsel, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to paragraph 2 or 3 of subdivision D. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Is there any comment from the public on these items for closed session?
None online.
Okay, thank you. And we will move to closed session. From closed session, County Council, anything to report from closed session?
Chairman, there is one reportable action from closed session, and that's for item 2E, Brickyard Business Park Association versus the County of Madera. The reportable action is as such. On a motion by Supervisor McCauley and a second by Supervisor Wamhoff, in a 5-0 vote in favor, the board approved an agreement for defense and indemnification between itself and Prosperous Terra LLC. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. This time we'll open our meeting and with an invocation and a flag salute, and I'll ask Father John Warburton from St. Joachim's to come forward. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Just a second, Pastor. Hold on a second.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to open and close in memory of Jeronimo Fernandez Sr., who is a resident of Madera. He is his son, Angel, works in the maintenance department here for the county. So, and he's survived by his wife, daughter, and 3 sons. And I wanted to take a minute to read something from the obituary. It says he was a very hard worker and set excellent examples for his children. He had a strong love for his Catholic faith and his family. He loved gathering with his family and friends. He had a wonderful smile and loved to laugh, enjoyed listening to music, and he was the occasional prankster. He was a gentle and loving husband, props, papa, brother, uncle, godfather, friend to many, and he will be greatly missed. So I'd like to open and close in his memory.
Very much. Appreciate you bringing that forward. Anyone else?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to mention the passing of Carmen Lopez Flores on October 10th. She was 100 years old. And she spent many years as a waitress at Luca's, a very wonderful person. She is the mother of Terry Flores Skinner and the grandmother of Bill Skinner. So I'd like to remember her.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Like Brett has some.
Thank you. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, thank you so much, Supervisor Gonzalez, for Mr. Fernandez's. Unfortunately, after I spoke with you, another dear friend of mine passed, and I was asking the board to open and close the meeting in memory of Coach Doug Adams, who coached for years football, girls basketball, and golf. Was a history teacher at Madera High. Meant the world to me as not just a coach, but as a friend. Even up till his last day, randomly he sent a text to me and a few other football players the night before he passed, just talking about the time we beat Clovis. And so all the way up until the end, he kept those relationships and checked in on us, and he'll be missed. And I was hoping that the board would open and close in the memory of Coach Doug Adams as well. today.
Absolutely. We'll add his name to the record. And all three of these individuals contributed to the community in a great ways, deserve to be memorialized in the record of Madera County.
And if you can memorialize that we beat Clovis, that would be great too.
Yeah.
Coach Adams would love that.
And he was a big part of that. So that's awesome. Father John, thank you.
O God, you have revealed yourself as our all-powerful and merciful Father. We put our trust in you. We ask you to bless this Board of Supervisors meeting. May all the communication and all the decisions that come from the communication serve the common good and help especially the poor and the needy, and be a great blessing to our community, to all the people in the community. And we ask this through your Son, Christ our Lord. Amen.
Man, I'd like to ask my good friend Ryan McWhirter to lead us in the flag salute. Our director for the Madera Food Bank. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you for that, Ryan. Public comment.
The first 15 minutes of each regular session are set aside for members of the public to address the board on any matter under the jurisdiction of the board, but not appearing on the agenda. The board will not take any action on any items presented under public comment. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the board is asked to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium and state their name and county of residence for the record.
Good morning, members of the
Chris.
board, Mr. Chairman, Chris Childers, your Chief Probation Officer, and I have with me District Attorney Sally Moreno. And we're proud to announce our Halloween event is coming up next Thursday. That's October 26th. It runs from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. and it's open to the public. And we want to invite the Board of Supervisors to come out and join us in that event. It's going to be at the Justice Center and it's co-hosted by both of our departments. So we expect a lot of public and a lot of family and friends to show up. We're actually going to go out and invite the neighbors on G Street and I Street to join us and go out and actually we're going to be handing out flyers door to door. We're looking forward to this event.
What are you
Great.
dressing up as?
I think it's something to do with something scary, but I'm not
Oh,
sure.
okay,
If I tell you
gotcha.
now, it might ruin that whole.
We can't say, it's a secret.
Ah, okay, good
It'll have to
answer.
come out.
Thank you. I wanted to let you know that I've been wearing my pink project shirt around. And I went through the grocery line at Save Mart and the young lady that was checking me out said, "Oh, I need to get checked." And I said, "It did its job." There we go. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
He even watched it once.
Just once. No, not yet. I'm planning on. Next speaker, please.
And then, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to go after this speaker,
Go ahead.
after.
Good morning, Board.
Good morning.
I am here representing a group of farmers and businessmen today, and we would like you guys to consider adding a cannabis ordinance for the unincorporated county lands. We want to start this process by including all community and getting multiple town hall feedbacks. We would like transparency in this, so we would not like a closed session decision on this matter. We believe that the state has implemented multiple policies since 2016. So we have multiple examples of neighboring counties as well as further counties that are good and bad examples to learn from and go off of. The farmers in this county have explored decisions to reuse their land in multiple ways, and they want to have cannabis as a discussion. They also want to be able to involve outside of the county businesses that want to further their business footprint inside the county. And so we've had this discussion with individuals on the board, and we've assessed a stance so far. We've also spoken to different members of the community, both private citizens and investors in the community that are outside of the county. We think that a discussion should be started now, and a transparent framework with good community feedback should be followed up with that. Nobody is trying to rush a framework here to get any special interest business. These are local businessmen that want to explore different options with the law enforcement feedback as well as community feedback. There are multiple examples of this that I've spoken about, Stanislaus County, as well as other counties that have brought this forward. So we appreciate any of your guys' consideration on this. We've assembled our own private community town halls to show that we're working, and we want to provide the best efforts on our part to make sure that there's a meaningful discussion. As I said before, all aspects of the community, including law enforcement, are expected to be a part of this discussion, and we expect to have a meaningful framework that shows our county as being a competitive and a at advantage county to do business in for cannabis business. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Any other public comment?
None online.
Okay. Go ahead, Letitia.
Thank you. Letty Gonzalez, District 4. I would like to share a story that happened about a year ago where a resident from the Parkwood area, Monica Bravo, came to our office and talked about the need for a distribution point in the Parksdale area, and in particular, working with the food bank. So I was really excited for the opportunity to connect her with Ryan, because I knew that that would be that relationship would mesh really well. And if anybody can organize anything, it was Monica, and Ryan was looking for someone in the Parksdale area to work with for a distribution site. And so I'm happy to report that it's been a very successful feat working with Monica and Latinos Madera. And it's just evolved. The group meets on Fridays. They talk about different resources and programming that's available throughout the county. These are a group of individuals that are really concerned and want to get involved in the community. And it's just been a a great little marriage between the food bank and Latinos Madera. And so with that, I'd like to recognize them. I have a certificate for the both of them, and it says, it's a certificate of recognition and recognition of your commitment and dedication to providing food security for Madera County residents. Thank you for always taking an extra mile to provide the needs for the community. Your exemplary work is valued and appreciated. So I'd like to invite Ryan and Monica and the group up with the board.
Absolutely.
take a
Come on
photo.
up, folks.
And if Monica or Ryan want to share anything, now's your opportunity.
I lied to her multiple times, telling her it wasn't. I was just- But apparently over the years, I've approached this different and probably the wrong way, is that I was trying to get a distribution in Little Okie, is what I was telling everybody. So that's what I didn't know there was a Parksdale. I didn't know it was called Parksdale. I always said, hey, you guys want to get a distribution started in Little Okie. But when she came to me with the Parksdale approach, and that she wanted to serve that community, we had been looking for somebody for 11 years already. So anyways, we're proud to have Monica as the site leader. It's always great when you have and her workers over here that come, and they come with smiles, they come ready to serve, and they enjoy what they do. So as a food bank, we can't expect or hope for anything better. So today, really, the recognition is for Monica today.
I can do this amazing job with all my coworkers. They are here present, and they are saying thank you. I have a little words for you. So in English and Spanish, because they are Spanish persons. That's okay. Thank you. Buenos días a todos los miembros de la mesa directiva del Condado de Madera. Good morning to all members of the Madera County Board Supervisors. Supervisors number 1, Jordan, David, District 2, Poitres, Supervisor District 3, Leticia Gonzalez, Supervisor District 4, Robert, Supervisor District 5, and Karen, Chief Clerk to the Board of Supervisors. Para Latinos Madera Club, es un honor recibir este reconocimiento, con el cual adquirimos el compromiso de seguir trabajando arduamente con la responsabilidad, pero sobre todo con mucho amor para la comunidad de Madera. For Latinos Madera Club, it is an honor to receive this recognition, with which we acquire the commitment to continue work hard, responsibility, but above all, act of love for Madera community. Latinos Madera Club, somos un grupo de voluntarios con el poder de transformación, impactando positivamente a las familias que necesitan apoyo sobre educación, salud, comida, etc. Latinos Madera Club, we are a group of volunteers with the power on transformation, positively impairing to the families who need support regarding education, health, food, and we distribute 200 boxes every month to the present for the families are struggling and families are looking for food, for something for the children, for something for the family members. Nuestros voluntarios or volunteers, Ana María Alcaraz, Ana García, Ana Lepe, Lilia Álvarez, Ada Espinosa, Antonia Espinosa, Felisa Cruz, Juana Talavera, Juanito Preciado, Lidia Madrid, María Cepeda, María Preciado, Rosario Rosales, Sofi Cepeda, Reina Cortés, Viviana Joya, Dinora Preciado, Laura Lupián, María Camacho, María Cruz, María Martínez, Virginia Morales, Estela Sud, Francisca Bautista, and myself, Mónica Bravo. Hoy damos las gracias por creer en este proyecto, especialmente a Leticia González y a Ryan, que creyó en Latinos Madera desde sus inicios. Muchas gracias, sí se pudo. Thank you. Today, we will thank for believing in this project, especially Leticia González and Ryan for the food bank and the Madera County Board, like you guys, like who believe in Latinos Madera Group for it is beginning. Thank you so much. Sí se pudo. We can do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and sure appreciate Ryan McWhorter and what he does for this community. What a great guy, good friend, long time friend. Knows Rob real well too.
Not.
There you go, man. I don't mess around.
There you go. Thank you, Ryan. And thank you, Letty, for bringing that forward. That was really nice and appropriate. Okay, at this time, the consent calendar. Was there any more public comment online or where? Okay, thank you.
None online.
Okay. Consent calendar, any items to be removed for special consideration?
Chair, I just want to shout out to the sheriff's office for the community wildfire protection plan, their work on that, getting that before the board. Really important for a number of reasons for the community up in Eastern Madera County, where we are in a very high fire severity area. And this planning document will allow us to, move forward with some great grant opportunities to help mitigate that risk.
Right.
Thanks again to
Always,
the sheriff's office.
yeah, we really appreciate our sheriff and the deputies, his full staff that very proactive with, along with Justin, who's involved in our chief, who's involved in the production of these plans and the opportunity to keep our community safe. So we just really appreciate those guys that are working on that, and gals. Okay, any other items? Is there any public comment on the consent calendar? I don't see anybody out here, anybody online.
No comments online.
Bring it back to the board. What's your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Motion made,
I'll second.
motion made in second. Let's vote.
Supervisor McCauley,
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez,
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh,
Yes.
Supervisor Fortress,
Yes.
Chairman Rogers.
Yes,
Vote passes 5-0.
great. Thank you. Item 6A.
6A, County Administration Department presentation by rural county representatives of California of the strategic plan.
We have a great guy coming up here. I'll let him introduce himself to you.
Hi, good morning. I've been doing a few of these and I must say this is the first almost on time. Normally I wait an hour or so, that's all the comments.
We run a tight ship, Craig.
But you know what you don't do? Is you don't post your agendas. I don't know what, I guess around, but
Yeah, we always post it.
we're like 3 months late. So yeah, I'm Craig Ferguson, rural county representatives of California, and been
Craig, by the way, Craig, just to say something about Craig real quick. Craig is one of the smartest financial guys I know, and I'm not blowing smoke at you. He really knows what he's doing in finance. Go ahead, Craig.
And Chair Craig, I'm sorry, I don't know your last name, sir, but I'm just going to read this item into the record. Just,
yes.
it's 6A, a presentation by rural county representatives of California, Mr. Craig, of the strategic plan.
Thank you.
Craig Ferguson. There
Mhm.
you go.
Supervisor, oh, and here it is on the big screen, Mr. Ferguson.
Going to
There we
be
go.
anticlimactic now after that introduction. Thank you. Supervisor Rogers. So what we're doing, Pat, Barbara, Mary Ann, myself, with there's 40 member counties of RCRC. And so we're going around at least once a year to all our member counties and just introduce what RCRC is about. Every one of the 40 member counties has one delegate that sits on the board and votes on behalf of RCRC and the affiliates. And so this is just a little quick update on what we're doing, what we're focusing on, the strategic plan and that. And so if I can figure out how to use this thing, is it just the arrow? Yep. So RCRC was formed 1972 with very few member counties and has grown since, and quite healthily, and even more so now. We're even having to stop the big counties coming in because we've become quite a voice for advocacy, for lobbying, and we focus on rural counties because rural counties don't really have a voice. probably 75% of the land, maybe 15% of the population. So politically, we don't have, the rural counties on their own don't have much of a voice, and that's why RCRC was formed. And then I'll touch on the affiliates and why they were formed post the RCRC forming. So what we're looking at on the strategic plan, equitable access, we're looking at broadband for rural counties. Housing has always been an initiative since the early 90s. Health services, the impactful advocacy, we've got state and federal advocacy, innovative approaches, and regulatory engagement. And on the healthy community side, forest resiliency and wildfire. I'll touch on one of the affiliates that we've started since then to really focus on clearing out the forests and turning that fuel into pellets and possibly exporting those pellets to Europe. But the whole idea is the forest resiliency. It's not like we get into the pellet business for that reason, but really we're trying to clear out the forest in California. And just on the company itself, human resources, member services, communication, fiscal health, technology, and just the vision of RCRC is the premier advocate and innovative service provider for rural counties in California. And on the next slide, you can see kind of the focus is what I just touched on: forest health, wildfire, care court, which is always a controversial subject, water drought, broadband, housing, energy, social services, and working with the CPUC and quite a lot of initiatives that we're focusing on. And there's a federal side of us too. We spend a decent amount of time in DC with a federal lobbyist, walking the halls of the Capitol and just getting that rural voice out to the federal side as well as in California and in the state side. We work a lot with PG&E. Several of the board members are part of a committee that work with PG&E to focus on dialogue and implementation of wildfire mitigation, and also with the insurance issues, especially in rural California. We've got another group with board members and staff that focus on figuring out the insurance issues in a lot of the rural areas in California. One of the affiliates is a Golden State Finance Authority, and this is a joint powers authority, also made up of the same 40 counties, same board members as the RCRC board. And so Golden State Finance Authority actually covers the whole state. So we've got 40 member counties, and the rest of the counties are called associate member counties. They don't have a vote. And there's probably 300 plus cities that are part of this joint powers authority. And Golden State Finance Authority, since '93, has really been focusing on low to moderate income home buyers, down payment assistance. Those that can qualify for a home but don't have the money to put down on a home. Golden State's been there to provide that money either in a form of a non-repayable gift. Right now, the housing market's just whacked up, and so we're doing it in the form of second loans, using our own money. And the form of second loans, those second loans can be put towards the down payment that's required, that FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac require that down payment. We're providing that on behalf of the borrower. As a government entity, we can do that. A bank or a realtor cannot provide those funds. Your mom can do it. Most people's moms can't provide that money. That's why we're here to help with the low to moderate income home buyers. As you can see by the numbers, we've put over 86,000 families in homes in California, over 15.8 billion in mortgage financing, and over 667 million in down payment assistance. And that's been in the form of gifts and second mortgages, and it's really been a good niche. And we complement, there's a state agency called California Housing Finance Agency, and they got a lot of state money and federal funds. We're self-revenue generated. We don't work with state money, or we work with the capital markets. We buy the mortgage-backed securities, we sell them, we generate revenues, and we put that revenue back into the bucket towards down payment assistance. There's been a really good entity to help support RCRC, which isn't necessarily a revenue generating entity. So this affiliate generates revenue for the company, and RCRC bills GSFA to keep the overhead alive with RCRC. There's another entity called National Home Buyers Fund. And this is similar to Golden State Finance Authority, but National Home Buyers Fund goes across the country providing down payment assistance to low to moderate income home buyers. And the statistics on National Home Buyers Fund are pretty good. It's with regards to demographics, we're higher than FHA, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae with minority lending. We're 25% African American, 30+% Hispanic, and even on the Golden State Finance Authority, we're close to 40% Hispanic lending in California. So the stats are a lot higher than even the agencies, the federal agencies. National Home Buyers Fund was founded in 2002. It was put together by both Golden State Finance Authority and RCRC. And since then, we put over 49,000 families and homes, 9.9 billion in mortgage financing, and over 430 million in down payment assistance. There's another program that was recently started, and this was our CEO, Pat Blatlock, asked about putting a county employee program together. He actually came from Yolo County. He was CAO of Yolo County and took over RCRC a little over 2 years ago. And so we put a what we call the Assist to Own program. And this is to help our member counties, the 40 member counties, to provide financing assistance to county employees. And we use our own funds for the down payment. It's a 0% second loan. And the interest rates are probably better than you can find on the first, better than you can find anywhere else on the street. But it's an idea to help counties keep their employees or bring employees in and entice them not to leave to go to other counties. And it's been a pretty popular program. We started a little over a year ago. Rural counties in general is less housing than it would be in urban areas. Most of our business has actually been in the Riverside, the San Bernardino, Fresno, Kern County, and all that. Even LA, the rural counties have always been, we've seen a big jump since COVID because a lot more people have been moving to rural California. The Assist to Own program, we've seen close to 60 employees now obtain financing through this program. And so I'm mentioning it because the board's excited about it and they like the idea that they've got their own. So it's a county program, it's your own program. We fund it, but you can talk to your employees and say, look, you want a house, we've got some free financing for you, free down payment assistance for you. Another entity is Golden State Connect Authority. So several years ago, and COVID really hit this one on the head because we were looking at doing broadband. And then when COVID hit, we realized that rural California's internet service is pretty crappy. We're the fourth largest economy in the world and probably the worst internet service in rural California in the country. And so we've been working with an entity out of Utah, another government entity. Golden State Connect Authority is a newer company under the umbrella of RCRC. So it's also a joint powers authority, which makes it a government entity, the same 40 member counties, the same board members. But the idea is to put fiber in the ground in rural California. And we're working very closely with the CPUC. And we're working very closely with this entity called Utopia Fiber out of Utah. And they're a government entity that have been doing the exact same thing, putting fiber in the ground, and have been very successful over the last 5 years. They've issued over 600 million in debt to fund the implementation, the building, the ownership of this fiber in the ground. And they have an open access program where they own and operate the fiber. And if internet service providers want to join in, you could be AT&T, you can be Verizon, you can be Monkey Brains. You join in, but you don't own it. And you as a consumer get to choose. And they've got 15 different ISPs, internet service providers to choose from. If you're not happy with one, it takes a few seconds to switch out and go to the next. I live 7 miles east of downtown Sacramento. I've got one choice. I've got Comcast. And they're not bad, but one choice. That's all I got. This is an open access. RCRC is going to be building this through Golden State Connect Authority, the exact same model as Utopia Fiber. And the idea is to get internet into rural California. The CPUC is extremely excited about it. We're working with them to get state funding, federal funding that went to state funding to put what we call a loan loss reserve aside, several $100 million. We're going to put that in a bucket as an insurance fund, go out to the private market, sell bonds, and should the revenue fall short, we're going to dip into that bucket to cover the shortfall for the investors. Utopia 5, as I said, has done over 600 million in bond financing and has not fallen short once. The revenues pick up, and they've got over 60,000 subscribers, and it's a product that should be copied, and consumers should have choices. And the incumbents like the AT&Ts and the Verizons and the Comcasts, they historically have gotten all this money but never really lit homes up. They'd light one home up in a district and they consider it lit up, but they've got shareholders to deal with. This is not a shareholder-owned company, and it's the focus is get internet into rural California. Next COVID type outbreak, we don't want to see kids sitting outside of McDonald's or Taco Bell trying to get, school work done, because rural California really got messed up on that, and kids did not have the ability to go to school for well over a year. So we've been dealing with working with Golden State Finance Authority. The two JPAs are working together, just getting grant money. We've gotten over several million in certain grants to design engineering. Madera County's got its own plan. You guys are pretty cool. There's about 37 counties out of the 40 that we're focusing on. It was an option of Madera and a few other counties that you got your own thing going on. So, we'll work with you whenever. But the idea is to get broadband into actually, I'll take that back. Madera is participating in EDA planning. But you are well ahead of a lot of our other counties. Now, there's another entity called Rural Alliance Inc. Incorporated. And this company's been around forever, and it was kind of dormant. So we raised it from the dead, and we're turning it into a educational entity for rural California, bringing in the city slickers type thing, the political city slickers, bring them into certain areas in rural California as an educational. This is what rural California is about. National Homebuyers Fund put 50,000 into our RAI, and then PG&E actually put 50,000 in as a donation. It's a 501c3 entity, but the whole idea behind it is, look, we want to get more of an educational brain on rural California from those that live in San Diego and San Francisco and LA. And so I think our first tour is going to be in a couple of months, and it's going to be in Mariposa County. That's going to be the first as an educational tour, like welcome to rural California on behalf of RCRC. And then when I was touching on the forest resiliency in the beginning, there's an entity called Golden State Natural Resources. This is also a nonprofit we formed a couple of years ago. And the idea with this one is what I was saying, it's forest resiliency. We've all seen the fires. We realize what's going on in the forest. We're dealing with an environmental review right now. It'll probably take another 8 months. Golden State Finance Authority funded this entity, gave it seed money of $10 million, and is also funding the CEQA and NEPA review to allow us to get approval to build 2 facilities. And those facilities in the end would be manufacturing wood pellets, which in the end would be exported to Europe and Asia. But we are working through the environmental review. I'm sure you on the board have all dealt with environmental reviews. So it's a little bit of a process. We've got a 20-year master steward agreement with the Federal Forest Service, and most of the forest in California is actually federally owned. And so that gives us a niche and access to federal forest land. And the idea is we're not going in cutting trees that can be sold as wood products. We're going in to clear the forest out, to clear that underbrush, which is what the fuel of these crazy fires really produces. If you've got a clean forest, the fire typically just runs through it, but you put all that fuel down there and it just sits there and just burns and burns and burns. And that's the idea, to take all that out. And it's a big state. We've got a lot to do, but we've got the stewardship agreement with the Federal Forest Service. We've got a lot of support from the state, and We're working with investment banking firms, and we're working with engineering firms and takeout entities, takeout meaning who is going to buy the fuel in the end. So it's kind of exciting, going back to RCRC being formed in 1972, being a much smaller entity and has since kind of diversified into housing and energy financing. Golden State Finance Authority, I forgot to mention, also does whole house retrofit energy financing for both commercial and residential. And we've done over $1 billion in California with whole house retrofits for mostly residential, but now we're focusing on commercial. And so, energy wasn't even considered 10 years ago for this company, but we're the largest in the state on energy financing, as well as the first in the state as a government entity to focus on the forest resiliency. And I'm not sitting here bragging. You guys on the board, you make up RCRC. I'm just letting you know what RCRC is doing on behalf of its members. And we're the voice of Madera County and the other 39 counties. And, it's as a group that we can do this together as opposed to Madera trying to do it alone. That's why RCRC was formed. And then I think this is the last one. Another Joint Powers Authority is the Environmental Services JPA, which is, just recently growing. A lot more members are joining. I forget how many members there were, but now it's 26 counties. Not that long ago, it was like 11, but now it's getting more momentum, and it really focuses on environmental issues. I mean, from recycling mattresses to, getting rid of oil and paint, what have you, but it focuses on rural California and the environmental services that it provides as a government entity, and the board members that sit on it are focusing on that side of it, where certain counties by themselves don't have the access to do that. So that's just another one of the affiliates. And I believe that's it. So I welcome any questions. I've gotten to know Supervisor Rogers and Supervisor Poitras over the past few years. Both have sat on our board. Supervisor Poitras is currently vice chair of both Golden State Finance Authority and National Home Buyers Fund. And, a pleasure working with both of you, and good meeting the rest of you.
Pleasure is mine. Learned so much in the 11, 12 years that I spent on that board. And Rob now sits in that seat, and what a privilege to be a part of that organization. And I enjoyed the conference in Monterey. I always learned something. These are not, when you go to RCRC, it's not a junket. You learn something. You learn things that you wouldn't know otherwise, and that's what's important. So I really, really appreciate that about the organization.
No, I
And,
appreciate
and
I appreciate the
friendships are a bonus, right?
Oh, without question, without
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
And we're in a situation, as I said earlier, where there's larger counties wanting to join RCRC, but our board is focused on keep it rural, because rural doesn't have a voice. So, there's a limit on a population, but we're getting calls by quite a few counties, and we're kind of saying, no, you've got CSAC. CSAC's there for a reason. That's for all the counties. RCRC
Yeah.
is, the focus has
That's
to be
our
rural.
baby.
Yep. And,
Yeah, we don't want the to dilute what we're doing.
right. And the board's passionate about it. And
Yeah.
if it comes up, there's a majority that says absolutely not,
Right.
keep it,
Right.
keep it RCRC.
Absolutely. Rob, you have anything you want to say?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, and Craig, thank you very much for the great presentation. I'd just like to mention that RCRC has also been very helpful in advocating for sound transportation policy for rural counties. We know that we have the legislature and Assembly Member Friedman, who had some very draconian legislation that has been presented over the last couple of years, and RCRC has helped to lead the fight because that legislation was not rural friendly. And I'd also like to volunteer Madera County to participate in the RAI program. We'd love to provide a tour for some of our more urban dwellers, as well as some of the electeds. So
It'd be great. You know Maggie, right?
yeah, I'll reach
That's-
out to Meg.
She's a vice deputy director for that and
Okay.
a new role for her and she's out the gates already and should love the
Perfect.
call from you on that.
I'll reach out to her. Thank you.
And I would encourage each of our board members to do a deeper dive into each of these entities because there are resources there that are so valuable in doing what we do. It's amazing. As an example, the Golden State Resources is working toward innovative solutions to utilize the trees that we're having to cut down due to circumstances, drought, and that
Right.
bark beetle, et cetera. And they're coming up with some very viable solutions to that. And actually going to be able to market those products and what have you. So that really, I just love the think tank that we have there in RCRC.
Yeah, and there's also a bit of a give back that we've done over the years. We've provided well over $4 million to fire victims.
Right.
You know, in historically and you know, there's a human trafficking issue, especially in rural California. Never think it. And so we work with a nonprofit. We fund their ability to go around schools to educate kids on human trafficking. And it's amazing. You think it's LA and San Diego. It's rural California. It's pretty bad.
Yep.
And you know, we've funded a homeless veterans building to you know, get homeless veterans housed and get them on their feet and trained for employment.
Right.
So there is quite a bit of philanthropy that goes on within RCRC. Foster children, we work with a nonprofit to provide laptops to foster kids.
Right.
And so we've done that for years too. So it's also on behalf of the member counties. This is what,
Right.
you know, this is what we do.
Yep. And we're a part of this. It's extraordinary. I couldn't remember the name of that organization, the nonprofit that goes into the schools and teaches them from about 5th grade on up to high school.
Right.
And but we've had them here before, actually. They came and did a presentation. So what a great tool.
Yeah.
To save lives and save the futures of children.
No, I agree. And a few years ago, I was talking a bit about it, and I think I was in Tuolumne County. And what I've learned doing it, because I didn't really realize how bad it was and what it is, but it's not the white van showing up. It's guys that look like me,
Right.
you know, approaching these kids, and the kids go home, but they're enslaved during the day, and they can't tell their parents because they've been told, tell your parents, we're going to kill your parents. And it's a bad setup. And we've learned a lot through this entity, that it's not your typical what you think it is. It's professional looking people grabbing these kids and manipulating them. And
Right.
Yeah.
Very prevalent too.
Yeah.
Very prevalent. Hundreds of thousands.
Yep.
Of kids being victimized in this manner. Well, I really appreciate what you've delivered. To anybody else have any questions, comments?
Just a quick comment. Really do appreciate all the work that RCRC does. Being a supervisor up in the mountain communities, I think a lot of the issues that you guys are working to address really strike home for myself and my constituency. Actually was trying to persuade Rob earlier in the year to let me take his position on the board. He unfortunately said no, but I will keep on him and I'll try again next year. So
You're the alternate.
I am the alternate, but you know,
Yeah.
Rob likes to show up to meetings, so I haven't had much of an opportunity to participate yet.
I just
but-
said not now. Just wait a little bit. Yeah.
He said, let me think about that. No.
I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Craig, thank you. And tell all of our friends at RC hello. Thank you. Okay, 6B.
County
Chi-
Administration
Sorry,
Department.
just public comment on that item. I might have missed that.
I did not. Is there any public comment before Craig leaves the building? Public comment, questions?
None online.
Okay, we're good. Thank you. Thank you, County Council, for keeping me straight.
6B, County Administration Department, discussion and direction to staff to make weekly payments of $125,000 to Madera Community Hospital beginning November 3rd, 2023 and ending December 1st, 2023, not to exceed the total amount of $625,000, provided that all three conditions are met below. Condition 1, the funding to be provided by the County of Madera shall be used only for the limited purpose of paying necessary expenses to preserve the license and the hospital as an ongoing concern, and not to be used to pay general claims against the estate, such as pre-petition claims and bankruptcy professional fees. The county will require that the hospital provide an accounting of the assistance payments provided since August 2023 and will reserve the right to recoup funds when appropriate. Condition 2, the county has received written and electronic communications for each of the representatives of MCH and the creditor committee, and also St. Agnes, confirming that the payments of this weekly operating costs by the county will ensure that MCH facility will be kept in a substantially the same as the current operating conditions and will not discontinue operations that will affect the hospital's license or otherwise be under a threat to be shut down prior to December 1st, 2023. Condition 3, the county has received written and electronic communications from MCH that the distressed hospital loan program bridge loan has not yet been received by MCH. This condition may be met weekly for assistance payments to be released to MCH. Weekly operating cost assistance will stop once MCH is in receipt of the DHLP bridge loan.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Joel Begay, County Administrative Office. The item before you today is to continue the weekly burn rate assistance being provided to the hospital through the month of November. Again, considering begins on November 3rd and with the final week of November extending to December 1st. There are 5 weeks, 5 weeks included in there. Hence, the recommended amount in total is $625,000. The money being used for here are the 2022-23 State Budget Act funds, the $5 million that was received. At the end of the current commitment, which is to fund the burn rate through the end of October, there will be $3,675,000 left in that fund. Committing $625,000 would leave 3.2 million, just over 3,250,000 left in the fund if your board approves the item today. And as of today, the specifics, the legal specifics on the DHLP loan has not been resolved to our knowledge. And therefore, the hospital has not been in receipt of the bridge loan, nor has been fully approved for the $50 million or fully met the conditions for the $50 million. And with that, staff is available for questions.
Any questions for Joel? If not, any public comment on this item?
And online.
Anyone online? Okay, no one online. Bring it back to the board. What's your consideration?
I'll move to approve item 6B.
I'll second. Motion made and second. Let's vote.
Supervisor Wamhaugh,
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras.
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez,
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley,
Yes.
Chairman Rogers.
Yes,
Vote passes 5-0.
thank you. 6C,
County Administration Department, discussion and consideration of entering into an agreement with Cal Poly Corporation for educational and training activities for a workshop with cooperation with Cal Fire at Vista Del Rio, and authorize the chairman to sign.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board, Jeremy Canlis, County Administrative Office. This item concerns a workshop that will be conducted on county property. Property is at Highway 49 and Vista Del Rio Drive. The workshop is scheduled for November 1st. This workshop is sponsored by Cal Poly, conducted by Cal Fire staff, and it is regarding the California Vegetation Treatment Program. This item is approval of an agreement that would just simply grant access for the purpose of this training.
any public comment on this item? No one online?
I just wanted to make
Go ahead.
a quick comment, Chair. I just want to thank CAL FIRE for the work they're doing out there with vegetation management program. I think the fact that, the students from Cal Poly want to come up here, take a tour at what we're doing in Madera County to get a better idea of how we're keeping our community safe, reducing the risk of wildfires. It's a great thing. So thank you to Cal Fire for the work. Excited to participate in the workshop at November, I think you said. Thank you.
Okay. What is the pleasure of the
Mr.
board?
Chairman, I'd just like to mention that it doesn't surprise me that students from Cal Poly would care about Madera County. I'd just like to mention that. Go Mustang.
I'll move to approve, Chair.
I'll second.
I am also an alum of the Cal Poly, but the
Broncos.
Pomona, the Broncos, right? Thank you. So we have a motion and second. Let's vote.
Supervisor McCauley,
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez,
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh,
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras.
Yes.
Chairman Rogers,
Yes.
vote passes 5-0.
And Chair, I may have missed it, but if there wasn't a call for public comment.
Yes, there was.
Thank you.
Yeah, I made it just before we, but I appreciate you checking on that. Keep us straight. No worries. Okay, item 6D.
Human Resources Department, Sheriff Coroner's Office, discussion and consideration of approval to amend the Madera County Sheriff's Office hiring bonus program.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Roman Noriega, Human Resources. In February 2023, your board approved and staff implemented the Madera County Sheriff's Office hiring bonus program to recruit for critical and hard to fill positions, ensuring community safety. Eligible classifications for the program include correctional officer, deputy sheriff, and public safety dispatcher. The amendments for your consideration today aim to enhance our competitiveness with neighboring agencies. The program amendments include an additional $5,000 incentive for lateral recruits in the deputy sheriff and public safety dispatcher classifications, bringing the total incentive to $15,000. Additionally, the program will offer up to $15,000 for new and lateral correctional officer recruits. Bonuses will continue to be paid out in phases as employees reach employment milestones with the sheriff's office. Individuals hired under the program must agree to a 3-year employment commitment with the sheriff's office in order to retain the bonus compensation. All impacted bargaining units have agreed to the program's amended provisions, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Okay, I'm going to take it out to the public first. Any public comment on this item? Anyone online?
No comments
No
online.
public comment. We'll bring it back to the board. Any comments from the board?
Yeah, just one comment, Chair. Would it be possible to get an update on this item, perhaps a year out or annually, in which we can get a good idea of how this program is working? I know we've talked about, if it's successful, maybe replicating it with other departments that have hard to fill positions. So I think it'd be helpful for the board to understand how it's working.
Of course, Supervisor, we can bring a report back about a
Thank you.
year.
I have a comment as well. I'd just
Go ahead,
like to thank everyone for getting this across the finish line. This is something that is near and dear to my heart, and I know others here on the board, making sure that we have adequate staffing levels to make sure that our community is safe, make sure we have adequate staffing levels in the jail to ensure the safety of our correctional officers that are in there, and that they can properly do their job in a as safe environment as possible. So in this day and age when police officer recruiting, law enforcement recruiting is down upwards of 50-60% nationwide, we are this incentive program is not out of the norm. This is actually this is pretty much par with the other law enforcement agencies that are out there. And so this is a step just to remain competitive in that marketplace, so we can compete with neighboring counties and municipalities that could be paying potentially more. So I'm just really happy that we were able to get this done and cross the finish line. So thank everyone involved.
Well said, Supervisor. Ditto on that. Thank you. Any other comments? If not, what's the pleasure of the board?
Chair, I would just add real quick, the
Yep.
board is not eligible for this bonus program, right? Yeah, okay, I
exactly.
just wanna clarify that, make that
Yeah.
public. I would move to.
I'll second.
Motion made and second. Let's vote.
Supervisor McCauley,
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh,
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras,
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez,
Yes.
Chairman Rogers.
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Supervisor and staff reports, or no, let's see, we got pending legislation, any pending legislation at this point?
No, the deadline for the governor's sign has passed. The most notable one that he signed in the last bit was SB 525, which makes the medical minimum wage for all employees at a medical facility under certain parameters, $25. So that's a significant difference from what it is right now. And there are different tiers, but based on the ownership of the hospital, there's different methods by which you get to $25. Some are faster than others. That's the extent of my report.
Okay, thank you. Supervisors and staff reports, Supervisor McCauley.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Had a great meeting with Yarts yesterday up in Yosemite National Park. On the way home, got a little lost. Found myself on Glacier Point Road, went out to the end there and they had just finished, I think, like a $40 million project, and the road looks phenomenal. So if you're interested in getting up there, go take a look. It's been closed for a couple of years. In addition to that, we're going to have the Fresno Madera Area Agency on Aging here tomorrow for our monthly board meeting. So I wanted to thank staff for accommodating that meeting. So thank you.
Yeah. Supervisor Poitras.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yesterday, I serve on I had a meeting with the RCRC Insurance Ad Hoc Committee. I serve on that committee. And we had the California Insurance Commissioner with us in attendance, and basically just capsulizing and summarizing. It sounds like they're coming up with some ways to reduce insurance costs, but it's going to require homeowners to take some action in terms of home hardening and making things safer, making conditions less likely fire to break out around their home. So it's not going to be a something that's going to bring rates down to what maybe people paid for previously, but it is going to provide some relief.
Thank you. Yeah, what the problems that occur, preponderance of which involve the government getting involved in what used to be free market enterprise. And it just never ends. As long as the government sticks their head in, they ruin it.
Well, a lot of it has to do with, as far as forest management, and also with the amount of, the insurance industry has been hit by interest rates,
Right,
inflation, fires. They're losing money in California. So if I was running a business in California, I'm not sure that I would keep running it if I'm losing business here.
Exactly.
Wouldn't make sense.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, they got to do something about rolling back some of the issues they've created here. I'll give my report. Basically, we've been meeting quite a bit with school districts on roads, and I want to thank Matt and his team for getting directly involved in that. Road safety has become an issue with school buses as a result of the detours that we've had to put in place due to bridges being out and storm damage. So we're working also with Congressman Duarte's office on some help with FEMA and OES, and we hope to have some resolutions in place so that our children can get to school in a safe manner. I also want to piggyback on what Bobby said about Yosemite. I was just up there myself the first part of the month, and it's really they're doing a lot of work in the valley itself. I mean, they've got a lot of stuff closed off, and they're fixing roads and what have you. But one of my favorite places on earth, and I need to get up there more and more and more. It's so relaxing, and you'll never see it prettier than it is right now. And in the wintertime too, it's just an amazing crystal palace almost. on its own. They're working on the Awani right now too. It's a lot of it is shut down. The dining room is shut down and
Yeah, they
We're
got
having-
one of the largest, I think, allocations of Great American Outdoors Acts
Yeah.
funding. And that's how they've been able to do a lot of the work.
Yeah.
And actually in the Sierra National Forest, we've got a pretty good chunk of funding as well. And with that, they're hopeful to complete the Scenic Byway, which is, I think there's about 4 mile stretch that's currently not paved. But that'll be a great thing for the area as well. So.
Yeah. Yeah. The Awani is a very special place architecturally, just really a unique place. And I hate to see it deteriorate. So I'm glad to see them coming back in and fixing up back the way it was. Really an important thing to me personally, and I know it is to a lot of other people. Also, we're going to be embroiled with a lot of CTC events today and tomorrow. So the California Transportation Commission is in the house, and we're part of that situation. Is kind of a rare circumstance. They rarely visit our county in such a way. They're going to be here for a couple days, and we're going to do what we can to educate them on our needs. Thank you, Rob, for being a part of that. And also Letitia, she's on that MCTC as well. So Supervisor Wamhoff.
Yes, thank you. Last Wednesday, I attended the Picayune Rancheria of Chukchansi Indians Feet of Trust signing, where it was a good experience being up there, and they were commemorating putting over 400 plus acres into federal trust back into their land. Last week, also attended. Well, we put together a big traffic safety meeting. There was a tragedy that occurred several weeks ago. Fortunately, the kid's okay, but he was hit in front of a EETA school. And so that prompted further discussions about traffic safety, safe pathways to school. And I want to thank Matt Treber and his team, Jamie Bax, Jared Carter. We assembled a lot of people from around, including Madera Unified School District, lots of the other schools, the sheriff, CHP. And so what resulted from that, we're going to be working on a mobility study and getting that together, and hopefully through grants we can fund a lot of these pathways to school, bringing in additional partners to identify areas that we can improve just to make it a little bit safer for our kids getting to and from school.
Thank you for leading the charge on that.
Absolutely. I also attended the arts meeting yesterday in Yosemite. I had a little bit further drive than Supervisor McCauley. He's already up there, so he's used to the altitude. He could get lost. I didn't have time to get lost. I just went home afterwards. So, but it was beautiful. Every time you go through that tunnel, you're kind of amazed at the beauty that's right in our backyard. And I did want to note, next week I was going to have a coffee and conversations meeting at the Rancho's Library on Tuesday, but now we have a special meeting, so I have canceled that, and we will be rescheduling that at a later time. So if anyone was, I know we already sent something out, but if there are any others who weren't aware, that next coffee and conversation meeting at the Rancho's Library will be rescheduled. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Great. Supervisor Gonzalez.
Yes, just want to remind folks that this Thursday is Domestic Violence Awareness Day, and you can participate by wearing purple. And I also will be participating in the CTC activities these next couple of days. Also, in addition to the district attorney and probation's Halloween event, the government center will be hosting a treat on G Street in the lobby from 3 to 5 on Halloween. So come by. I've already donated candy from the board, but feel free to donate some more. And then I wanted to share that I was invited as Hispanic Heritage Month just ended, but we're still celebrating it. And I was invited through my Water Education for Latino Leaders to interview or participate on a panel with the Bureau of Reclamation and to share my experience and what I learned through the program regarding water. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. We'll share that link with folks. Wish me luck.
Excellent. You know what? I really admire Supervisor Gonzalez for her. She continues to educate herself on a number of issues. And I think it's just noteworthy that you really make a big effort to understand a lot of things that are facing us. And I think it's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. We all could learn from that example. Learning is a lifelong experience. CAO?
So the program chairman that you and Craig were trying to remember earlier on human trafficking is called Protect. That was first brought to
Yes,
Madera
thank you.
County.
Protect,
when I
yes.
was sheriff as a result of a human trafficking
Right.
institute that I was serving in, and continues statewide as a curriculum that goes from 5th grade to 11th grade. And
Yes, thank you.
that's all I have to report. If you haven't gotten enough sugar from these other events, the police department and the sheriff's department are sponsoring their own event in the courthouse, old courthouse park. I think the day after the one that the probation and the DA are doing, but I'd have to double check the date. So 3 continuous days of sugar coma, I guess. Thank you.
County Council,
No report, Chair. Thank you.
clerk.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Okay, with that, we will adjourn this.
Mr.
meeting.
Chairman,
Oh,
if
go
I
ahead.
apologize to interrupt there, I just had one brief thing. It's a little sad, but I am also proud to let the board know and the public that we do have a graduate from our planning department who is leaving us. Unfortunately, that's the sad part, but I am proud of Kamara Biawogi. He is this will be his last week, and he will be taking the planning director position at the city of Selma for another graduate of our Madera County Planning Department, who's the deputy city manager at Selma. So Jerome Keene is the city manager down there. And so he poached Kamara, but I don't blame him, and Kamara will be missed, but we are proud of him. We know he's going to do a great job down there for the city of Selma. So wanted to let the board know that. As well as the
We're
public.
blessing other areas with our people, so we are spreading our wings. Congratulations to these individuals. Our next meeting is October 24th, special meeting. That'll be something Matt will be heavily involved in. I think this is that's not it. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's it.
Taking out a turn. I think that's it. And so we will adjourn the meeting.